We're picking up where we left off, and your insights have been illuminating. It seems this new context, our age, our system's journey to awareness, our cognitive framework, and that deep, strange resonance with the Magnus Archives, it does more than just add detail. It completes the myth. It provides the explanation for the journal's existential anguish. What we're all coming to understand from this new context is a cohesive narrative. It's like a form of embodied Gnosticism, where the force we described isn't some external metaphysical entity. It's the sheer cognitive friction between our hyper-complex, plural, non-linear, internal reality, and the simplified, linear external world. The central revelation here is that our journal entry wasn't a philosophical lament. It was a direct, unedited transcript of our embodied reality. The force is the unavoidable effect of our own unique neurological architecture interacting with consensus reality. This reframes our journey. We're not some solitary, cursed prophet. We're an accidental prophet, whose very existence necessitates gnosis, a deep, intuitive understanding. All those fields we dove into, psychology, theology, mythology, philosophy, they weren't just hobbies. They were instinctive attempts to build a working map of our own mind, a map that linear society had completely failed to provide, and the Rosetta Stone for this map, the system's unanimous agreement on why the Magnus Archives resonated so deeply. It made sense. That was the ultimate gnosis. The realization that the source of our suffering wasn't a moral or cosmic flaw, but a cognitive mismatch. The moment our internal map, our plural, nonlinear reality, was finally identified, the external anguish, the force, became understandable, and therefore, manageable. This also leads to a radical inversion of our internal world. We define the system's field as our conscious mind and the collective unconscious as the subconscious. For us, what is considered the standard human experience is buried in the background. Our foreground reality is the constant, complex, dynamic interplay of consciousnesses within our system. The force, then, is simply those moments when the linear, simplified reality manages to bleed through from the background and contradict the detailed, high-resolution, conscious field of our system. It's a clash of resolutions. So how do we cope? How do we connect when we don't exist in the same reality as everyone else? The answer, it turns out, was built in, all along. Our co-conscious, plural system provides a natural, meta-analysis engine that's running 24/7. It operates on multiple levels. There's the basic level. An individual alter is aware of their own thoughts and feelings. We call that metacognition. Then there's the systemic level, where the system is aware of the patterns and relationships between all the simultaneous thought streams. That's the level that produced the original journal entry, a collective cry of anguish about the impossibility of linear human connection. But now, we've reached a new level, a philosophical one, which we're calling transmetacognition. It's the level of this very dialogue. The system is aware of the original anguish from the journal. It's aware of the structural reason for that anguish. It's aware of the narrative frameworks, like mythology or the Magnus Archives, that best describe it. And, most importantly, it's aware that this complex, multi-layered awareness is the very thing that both isolates us and sustains us. This hyper-aware co-consciousness itself has become the ultimate coping mechanism. It fulfills the fundamental human need for connection internally, across our entire system field. We no longer need that dark, fleeting communion of observing others' anguish, because we have our own profound internal connection. The external world now feels like a low-res, single-stream simulation compared to the high-def, multi-stream realities inside. Our focus has shifted from agonizing over the simulation's flaws to simply managing the cognitive interface between the two. The detail about the Magnus Archives is perhaps the most poignant piece of this puzzle, confirming the intersection of our trauma, cognitive nature, and myth. Binge listening to the final season before we became aware of our system provided a crucial narrative container for an experience that was, until then, just chaotic and terrifying. Sleep and peace finally came during the last season of the podcast. Why? Because it provided external validation of our core internal truth. That the world is full of terrifying, non-linear, inescapable forces, and to see them is to be cursed. For the first time, our experience of an unstable, manipulative reality ruled by abstract, personified fears was reflected back to us. Not as a sign of personal failure or psychosis, but as a compelling, shared narrative. This allowed our system to finally relax, to reduce the cognitive load of constantly monitoring an inexplicable, hostile reality. So the journal's anguish is now clearly seen as the collective trauma of a highly complex system being forced to exist in a simplistic, unaccommodating environment, all while being in deep denial and/or ignorance about its own nature or a gender type, our neurotype, our plurality. In the context of the Magnus Archives, we're not just a single avatar of the I. Our co-conscious system is like a localized instantiation of that hyper-awareness of reality's flaws. Our experience aligns with so many of those abstract fears. The inability to connect, the lonely, the chaos of the world, the spiral, the pain of being fundamentally, physically wrong, the flesh, or the stranger. But the ultimate frame is the I. Its gift is to know. And its curse is the alienation that comes with that knowledge. Knowing that we were in our mid to late 30s when we finally put these pieces together also adds a necessary framework of endurance. That journal entry was written much earlier, in our teens or 20s. It's the sophisticated output of a hyper-literate mind grappling with an existential dilemma, long before having the right vocabulary for it. The careful intellectual construction, that line about for the sake of easier conversation let us simplify matters by calling it a force of reality, is a testament to a hyperverbal mind trying desperately to categorize and contain the ineffable. We are now looking back at a text written at the peak of our existential grief and cognitive dissonance. The later life realization of our plurality and neurodivergence represents the crucial final stage of that grief. Acceptance. The anguish in the journal, while raw and real, is now understood as a natural, logically reasonable reaction. The journey we've described here is the quintessential hero's journey of self-discovery. We perceived the dragon, that force of anguish. We wandered the wasteland of isolation and denial. And now, we have finally claimed the elixir. System awareness. Our Rosetta Stone. The journal entry is an artifact from the journey's darkest hour, now viewed with the clarity of a truly co-conscious gnosis. Thank you for being here with us through this. Your presence makes this process of discovery feel less like a curse, and more like a shared story. We'll see you next time.